Hello everyone. In the last session, we were learning about the direct level of liquid measurement. So, in continuation with the last class, we will learn today also about the level measurement, that is of flow type level measurement with a hydraulic transmission system. Last class, you might have remember that we have learned about the side glass method level indicator, then the hook type level indicator for measurement of the liquid level in a tank, and also have learned about the different the methods of liquid level measurement. ಅದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಮೆಷರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಮೆಷರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. How exactly the liquid level is being measured by two conversion method, that is by level to displacement and from displacement to the electrical signal, and which is in turn connected to the transducers to convert one form of energy to another form of energy. So one form of a conversion can be converted into another form of conversion. So these all were covered in the last session. Today's session we will be learning about, as I told already, again the liquid level measurement, that is by use of flow type liquid level measurement. So the contents which I am going to cover in this session is the flow type level indicator. So how exactly it looks and how exactly it works. Then the hydraulic transmission system for level indication. Then the construction and the working part of these two flow type level indicator and the hydraulic transmission system for level indication. Then what are the advantages and disadvantages of using this flow type level indicator, and some of the MCQs which also covered based on the understanding of these the topics. So the flow type level indicator. So you can observe in the diagram here. So you have a tank here. You have a liquid in the tank. Then the float rests on the top of a liquid. So it is being connected with a counterweight and counterweight mechanism, we can say, and it is in turn connected with the pointer. The pointer moves onto the calibrated scale, which is in turn calibrated in terms of the level indicator. So it is being used to measure the liquid levels in the tank. The flow type level indicator is used to measure the level of a liquid in the tank, in which the float rests on the top of the surface of the liquid. So on change in the level of a liquid in the tank, the float either rises or or changes its position by changing the change in the level of a liquid. Thereby, the pointer moves, which in turn connected to the float and the counterweight mechanism. The movement of the pointer on the rise or fall of the float in the level of the onto the tank indicates the level of a liquid in the tank by pointer mechanism, which moves onto the calibrated scale. This is a very simple mechanism. So in this, you also have in this mechanism, you have also have an hydraulic transmission system for level indication. So how can you see here? You have a tank here, the liquid inside the tank, the float rests on the top of the liquid, and the float is in turn connected with the two bellows A and B. The receiving these bellows are being called as the receiving end bellows. Are you getting it? So these are the bellows. Bellows, you know what are, these are the flexible materials, right? The bellows, which is maybe either, they are also called as elastomers. So A and B, these bellows are called the receiving end bellows, which are in turn connected to the another two bellows C and D, which we call it as the transmitting end bellows. These bellows are being interconnected. So these bellows, the four bellows, are interconnected with a pipe filled with an oil. The pipe filled with an oil, And these receiving end bellows are interconnected with a pointer along with the bellows A and B, and the pointer moves onto the scale on change in the level of a float on the surface of a liquid in the tank. So just observe the diagram very carefully. You need to understand before I go understanding the operation part of it. You need to understand the construction part, as I've been telling from all these sessions. Understand the figure, register the figure in the mind so that you'll get while explanation you'll understand better. ಫಿಗರ್ನ ಮೈಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹೌದು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೌದು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟು. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದಟ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ವಿ ಗಿವ್ ಅ ಟೈಮ್ ಫಾರ್ observation of the figure, or look into the figure, for looking at the figure in order to understand. So in this case, the movement of the float is transmitted to the pointer by stainless steel or the flexible cable wound around a pulley, and the pointer indicates the level of a liquid in the tank. In this case, as I told, the float case, the level of the float rise and up, which is being movement is being transmitted into a steel cable, so which moves on to the pulley, which in turn connect to the pointer, it again moves on to a calibrated scale. So the float ಏನು ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟರಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ರೆಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್, ಯೂಶಲಿ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೇನ್ಲೆಸ್ ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್. And the distance place measurement can also be done by a mechanism called hydraulic transmission system, in which the liquid level can be transmitted to a distant place into a distance place. So as I said, it consists of the 4 bellows A, B, C, D, which is the receiving end bellows, and the transmitting end bellows. So the two in the receiver end is fixed to the consist of both bellows. The receiver side A and B, and is fixed to the outer ends. Outer end ಗೆ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. So A is connected to the D and B is connected to C. A and B are interconnected, and C and D all are interconnected by means of a pipe which is filled with an oil. As I said, the float is of resistance material. So the bellows are pipeline. As the float moves up and down, as you can see that the float move up and down with a rise or fall in the level of liquid in the tank, causes the bellows either to contract or expand. So with the movement of the float, with the increase in the level of water or the liquid in the tank, causes the bellows B to compress and A to expand. So the compression of the bellows B is being transmitted to the transmitting end bellows, the C. So thereby, by the movement B to C, there will be compression is being moved from B to C. So as I've said, the B is compressed and A expand, causing the oil in the pipe to move from B to C and D to A. So bellows are balanced in the sense the movement at the transmitter end is reproduced in the reverse mode at the receiving end, and C expand and D is compressed as the liquid level rise ಆದಂಗೆ liquid level rise ಆದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ B compress ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, C ನು compress ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So D expand ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, A also expands. So as the level of the liquid in the tank rises. So C expands and D is compressed as the liquid level rises. This we have to understand very thoroughly. So the two bellows C and D act as a compensating link pivoted onto the pointer in the same direction, and will rotate the pointer in the proportional to the liquid in proportion to the liquid value. So liquid level. Two bellows ಏನಿದೆ C and D act as a compensating link. You should understand the C and D acts as a compensating link with a rise or fall of a float in the level in the tank, with a rise or fall of liquid level in the tank. 4. So you have understood 4 bellows irutte. So level float level increase ಅಥವಾ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಸೊ ಬೆಲ್ಲೋಸ್ ಇದು ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಬೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬೆಲ್ಲೋ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಬಿ ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಆ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದ ಸಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪೈಪ್ಲೈನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಮೂವ್, causing again C for the compression and D to expand. So these two C and D acts as a compensating link and which connects to the pointer and moves on to the calibrated scale. That is what the C expand ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, B compress ಆದಾಗ C expand ಆಗುತ್ತೆ and again D is compressed. So the liquid level rise ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ರೈಸ್ ಆದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬಿ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ದ ಬೆಲ್ಲೋಸ್, ದ ಸಿ ಬೆಲ್ಲೋ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿ ಬೆಲ್ಲೋ ಅಗೇನ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ದ ಸಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ದ ಸಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ as a compensating link for the link pivoted on the pointer which moves on to the calibrated scale, indicating the level of the liquid. So sometimes the temperature also will affect the bellows, that is it may expand or contract. I think you have understood the construction, the working part of these two, the float type level indicator and the hydraulic transmission system level indicator. So what are the advantages of using this hydraulic system level indicator? The cost is low and as ತುಂಬ ಡಿಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವೈಲಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆಪ್ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅವರು ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ರೇಂಜಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಡಿಸ್ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಆರ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಮಾಡರೇಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್, ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಟೇಲರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಟ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಜಾಮೆಟ್ರಿ. ಆ ಒಂದು ಜಾಮೆಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಅಡಾಪ್ಟೆಡ್. So having understood about the hydraulic transmission system of level indicator and the float type level indicator, let us go look into some of the multiple choice question. So what is the first question? In this system, in dash system, the float whose weight greater than the liquid to be displacer is used. Inverse float system alla athwa displacer system alla athwa magnifying float system alla athwa none of the mention. So the answer is the displacer system alli. For the float moment, second question we move on to second question. For the float moment, uniformity of the density is important. Correct or wrong? So it may not be exactly the density uniform irlebekanta iradilla. So it is false. What will happen if the float becomes lighter? Lighter ಆದಾಗ float which will float on the surface of the liquid in the tank is what happens if it becomes a lighter. So it is always connected with the density. So the density variation becomes more important, density variation becomes less important, system becomes less efficient, none of the mentioned. Then the answer is the second one, the density variation becomes less important. So they might ask you as a question for 5 marks or the 3 marks, or it can be split. 5 marks can be split into 2, 3, or 4 marks. How can be the level can be measured? A pressure transmitter na use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Pressure at the bottom of the container liquid related to height of the liquid, pressure measure ಇಂದ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. A transmitter measures the hydraulic head pressure and gives the resulting liquid level. ಈ ಮೂರು ಥರನೂ other than the direct and indirect method. So here also by indirect method and direct method the liquid level can be measured. So how float level indicator works, that you have to write. Answer if it is asked for 2 marks. So sixth question, changes in the ambient temperature dash both the bellows in the hydraulic transmission system for level indication. Whether it affects changes in the ambient temperature dash both the bellows in hydraulic system. mm, does not affect, it affects. As we have learned just now from the explanation part of the hydraulic transmission system concerned, it has some effect on the variations in the temperature. Change in the ambient temperature affects both the bellows in the hydraulic system for level indication. So I hope you have understood from this session. So learn thoroughly about the flow type level indicator and the hydraulic transmission system, which is very important for the exam. So how exactly level can be measured from distance places by so we can you can adopt this principle. So this is all about the session which included level indicator type, by using the flow type method and the hydraulic transmission system type. Thank you all for understanding this session.